Welcome back. I am going to go back into different tips for mental health issues. I've been doing a bunch of other random videos recently, but today I'm going to talk about strategies for improved sleep. There are various things that you can do and that are suggested, but some don't work for everybody. So if you've tried these things and they don't work for you, then feel free to ignore those and listen to some of the other ones. So the first one is try to create a sleep-wake schedule. Go to bed at the same time every day and try to wake up at the same time every day, because your body will get used to it and it'll set the body's internal clock. So even if you don't fall asleep right away when you try to go to bed, or you don't sleep well through the night, try to wake up at the same time still. Like, get up and get going. Don't be like, oh, I had a bad night's sleep, I'm just gonna stay in bed for a while, because that messes up your sleep for the next day. So the next thing is getting as much light as you can during your waking hours, because your biological clock kind of works with the sunlight. You want to be awake when it's light out and be asleep when it's not. So if you are getting a lot of light during the day and then when it gets dark outside, your body will automatically tell you that you're tired. The third thing is try not to nap. When you nap, it decreases the likelihood that you'll fall asleep on time at night. You want to increase your tiredness so that you increase the likelihood that you will fall asleep at night. If you do feel like unbearably tired, you can take a nap, but it's suggested that you take only a 20 to 30 minute nap and before 3 p.m. The fourth thing is exercise. You should try to exercise like 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week. I read that it is best to work out in the afternoon or early evening, because if you work out too late, then it will keep you awake and energized when you're trying to sleep. The fifth thing is try to avoid stressful activities or things that make you feel aroused 2 to 3 hours before you try to go to bed. So this means doing strenuous activities, eating big meals, having an argument, watching TV, or just doing anything that kind of gets you going, because it stimulates the body and makes it hard for you to sleep at night. The sixth thing is try to make your sleep environment sleep friendly. So keep it quiet, try to keep it void of too much light. Try not to watch TV or listen to the radio or use your phone before you go to bed. The seventh thing is try to keep a bedtime routine. Do the same thing in the same order every time. Like, get ready for bed, wash up, changing into pajamas, and doing maybe a relaxing technique like meditation before you go to bed, because your body will get used to this routine and it will help tell your mind it's time to get to bed. Another thing is going to bed only when you feel sleepy, because you don't want to be lying in bed for long periods of time thinking about stuff or not being able to sleep, because that makes your body used to the idea of being awake in bed. You want to go to bed when you're tired and fall asleep as soon as possible. This helps you fall asleep quickly, stay asleep, and also sleep deeper. The next thing is try to limit the amount of caffeine you consume later in the day, because that can keep you awake at night and cause problems falling asleep. It is suggested that you not consume caffeine 4 to 6 hours before you go to sleep, and so it's fine if you have it in the morning or with lunch, but try not to drink coffee or caffeinated tea before you go to bed, like 4 to 6 hours. Next thing is sobriety. So try not to drink alcohol or use other substances. They may allow you to fall asleep faster, but it causes you to have fragmented sleep, so you're not actually getting the rest that you need, even though you did fall asleep quickly. The other thing that goes along with that is smoking and tobacco use. You shouldn't do that 4 to 6 hours before you go to bed, and also don't do any of those things in the middle of the night when you wake up. These other two things kind of go hand in hand. It's if you cannot sleep, don't stay in bed and only sleep in bed, because you want your bed to be, in your mind, a place where you're tired and fall asleep. You don't want to have your body get used to being awake in bed, and you don't want your body used to sleeping in other places. You want to condition your body to know that the bed is for sleeping and sleeping is for the bed. You can also talk to your doctor about sleeping medications or aid. If you can avoid this, I would try the other things first. Don't jump straight into medications, because I think that when you start using that, you become more dependent on it and you tend to use your own abilities and normal techniques less. So if you guys can, try not to use that as your first choice. Another thing is when you are trying to fall asleep, your mind might be racing a little bit. You're thinking about things during the day or things you have to do tomorrow, things that worry you. And the best way to get rid of this is practice meditating or do relaxation techniques. I think I'm going to make another video about that in the future. But those things, and also if you're tending to worry about a lot of things and the same things keep coming up, try to write those down before you go to bed so you can kind of set them aside and express them so that you can try to relax your brain more. The last two things are, don't watch the clock and don't worry too much about the amount of sleep you need, because those things also cause this worry and stress that you don't want when you're trying to fall asleep. When you look at the clock, you're like, will I have enough sleep by tomorrow? If I fall asleep right now, how much sleep will I get? Or, oh my gosh, I'm only going to get 4 hours of sleep if I fall asleep now, and I am not even asleep yet. And those things make you feel really stressed out, and they definitely do not help you relax and fall asleep. So those are my tips. They're not my tips actually. I learned these from the PHP program that I went to and that I've been talking about a little bit, but those are the ones that they suggested. I think they're pretty good. I personally have not had too much trouble sleeping recently, but when I was younger, I had so much trouble. I could be awake like for hours. Sometimes I wouldn't even fall asleep at all, and it was terrible. But these things I think definitely do help. It's really hard though to try to calm your mind down, and I'm trying to find more ways to do that, because simply writing them down or trying to put them aside for a later time just doesn't work. Usually when my mind is racing, it just keeps going and nothing I do can stop it. So I am going to look into that a little more, and I will be back in the future with a video about that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.